Hi, this is Miss Villasenor, and we're going to do a math video, and we are going to be focusing on real world positive and negative numbers and zeros. So make sure that you have your notes ready to go so we can get started. Okay, so with real world positive and negative numbers and zero, we are going to do two real world situations, and the first example is going to represent money. How money can be shown in positive and negative numbers, and we're also going to go through what a number line will look like to represent that. Okay, so first example here is example one. Take it to the bank. So I can read this for you, or you could just put it on mute. But the example one is we're going to write down words and definitions you know, and we're going to create a two-column thing. So in your notes, for the first column will be words you know what they mean. And the next column will show, the second one would be words that you want to know. Okay, so as you read, or as I read with you, you are going to write down keywords that you're like, what does that mean? And then this will help with your math problem, okay? So here we go. For Tim's 13th birthday, he received $150 in cash from his mom. His dad took him to the bank to open a savings account. Tim gave the cash to the banker to deposit into the account. The banker credited Tim's new account $150 and gave Tim a receipt. 1 week later, Tim deposited another $25 that he had earned as allowance. The next month, Tim's dad gave him permission to withdraw $35 to buy a new video game. Tim's dad explained that the bank would charge $5 fee for each withdrawal from the savings account, and that each withdrawal and charge results in a debit to the account. All right, so here are some word problems, and you might want to pause and write down words you know. Maybe you know what you might know what receipt means. So, I shouldn't have done that. That clears it. I'll just underline it. So receipt. So then you would put here receipt, and you know that's like a ticket that shows how much you spent. That shows spending, and then so any other keywords you find here, you would write them down on your notes. And then maybe there's some words here that you don't know what it means. Maybe you're not sure what debit means. So you'd put it here. And then maybe you're not exactly sure what they meant by withdrawal. Okay, so you'd write it here. So then once you have it there, go ahead and find the definitions. You can Google it and then write it down in your notes. And then we could break it down to be able to solve the problem. So you can pause it. Look for words you already know and look for words that you want to know. And once you're done with your two-column note, go ahead and start finding a definition for those words. Okay, so now this represents all the things that happened within that word problem with the money, how this would be shown in a number line. Okay, so you want to write this down from your notes, and a couple of things happen here with the situation with the word problem, and we can go back and forth here. So for Tim's 13th birthday, he received $150 in cash from his mom. His dad took him to the bank to open a savings account. So right here, he went to open the bank account, right? So he started with 0. So this number line shows 0. For opening the bank account, you start off with no money. You can't go to the bank. They don't put any money in there unless you put money. So you start off with 0. And the next thing that happens in a story is that Tim gave his cash to the banker to deposit into the account. Remember, the cash he received for his birthday was $150. So this is where he makes the deposit of $150. When you see the keyword deposit, that means positive. So we jump from showing 0 up to the 150, okay, in the positive. So that's on the right of 0. Now the next thing that happens in the word problem, the banker credited Tim's new account. So credited means that he gave him a balance of 150 with the receipt. So on here it shows the credited account. So it shows that in his bank account he's got a positive $150. Then the next thing is that a week later, Tim deposited another $25. So when you see the keyword deposited, that means he put money in. So that's a positive. Okay, so on here you will see that he made the deposit. So on here it shows 0, and making a deposit means a positive number. You're adding more money to your account. So it's on the right of 25, or the right of 0 to 25. And then the next thing that happens is, well, Tim deposited another $25 that he earned as an allowance. So that means working for money. So maybe he was washing his dad's car, gave him 25. Maybe he was cutting the lawn, whatever it is, but he earned that money. So that was a positive. Now the next month, and let me do some erasing here so you can see it clearly. The next month, Tim's dad gave him permission to withdraw $35 to buy a new video game. So that means that he spent the money. So on this number line here, oh, I went ahead. Not that number line. It's going to be this one here. This one shows that he spent $35. So that's when you're going to go to the negative side, because you're taking away from the money you have, so you're spending it, so that's going to be on the negative side. So that's where that number line represents that transaction or that step. And if we go back to this, then Tim's dad explained that the bank would charge $5 fee. So every time you see a charge, that means that they're gonna charge you a fee. Like, it's gonna cost money every time you withdraw. That means take out. So the bank, and that's where you see the next example on the number line, where the bank makes a charge of $5. So it's the bank, oops, wrong way, start from 0. The bank charges $5, so it's going to be a negative 5. So anytime you have reviewing this, 0 is neutral, deposit would be positive, a credit would be a positive, a deposit is a positive, a charge would be a negative effect, and withdrawing, taking money out, would be a negative effect. So that's your first example of a word problem that has to do with money that represents positive and negatives. Okay, so example 2, our last example will be how hot and how cold. This is when it has to do with temperatures, and that's when you will see, again, positive and negative situations on here. So I'm reading it from here. The temperature is commonly measured using one of two scales, Celsius or Fahrenheit. In the United States, the Fahrenheit system continues to be the accepted standard for non-scientific use, and all other countries have adopted Celsius as a primary scale in use. So the thermometer shows how both scales are related. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see this thermometer, but I'll explain it if it's not very clear on here. So for A is it says if the boiling point of water is 100 Celsius. Okay, so on the temperature here, let me make another copy where I could zoom into the thermometer. Okay, here we go. So as you can see in the picture, it shows that Celsius on, oops, let me do that again. Celsius is on this side and Fahrenheit is on this side, okay? So I'm going to be zooming in and out. And the the boiling point of water is 100 Celsius, where 100 degrees Celsius located on thermometer to the right. Um, so it shows here that the grade is, if you can tell, the greatest temperature on the Celsius side is 50. So, oops, sorry about that. I'm trying to get the pen here. 50. So you will not see the 100 that that is asking for. So because the greatest temperature for Celsius is 50. Okay. So on B here, on a vertical line, describe the position of the integer that represents 100 Celsius. So the integer is 100 and it would be located 100 units above zero on the Celsius side of the scale, right? So, but on here we only show the 50. So here's 0. And this is where I explain freezing point of water in Celsius, and we need 100 for boiling point. So right here, it only shows the Celsius side to the 50. So that's why it's saying that if we're going to show hotter temperatures, it's going to be above. Okay. And the next section here on C, write each temperature as an integer. So the temperature is shown on the thermometer in degrees Fahrenheit 100. So if I look on the temperature here, and this is 100 right here. I don't know if you can see that, but let me erase this stuff here. So here is my 100, and Celsius would represent, if I have 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, that would be about, looks like maybe 2s, 32, 34, 36, 38. So that would represent as 38, 38 degrees Celsius, because we're changing from Fahrenheit to Celsius. On the temperature shown on the thermometer, oh, I was correct. It tells me the answer right there, 38 degrees. Now, the freezing point of water in degrees Celsius is 0, right? What would it be on Fahrenheit? So if I zoom in, Celsius it's 0, and over here is about 35 degrees. Do you see that on the Fahrenheit side? So for Fahrenheit, the Fahrenheit would be represented as freezing would be like about 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, if someone tells you your body temperature is 98.6, what scale is being used and how do you know? Okay, so if you know that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, you have to think about that. And this one here shows 50 degrees Celsius for boiling hot. Are we normally boiling hot? No, we would be dead. So if they're talking about 98.6 in a scale, it wouldn't be the Celsius, it would be the Fahrenheit scale. Okay, because you have to think about, well, we know, again, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So there's no way our temperature could be 98.6 Celsius and still alive and well. So on the next section here, let me zoom out. Does the temperature 0 degrees mean the same thing on both scales? So let's look here. Remember, freezing point of water is 0 degrees on this side, right? And 0 would be here. So no, it wouldn't mean the same thing, because remember on Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, that would be about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So 0 would present more of negative, looks like about negative 15 degrees Celsius would equal 0 on this side. Okay, so when I go back here, it says no, 0 degrees corresponds to, 32 is a little bit Oh yes, well I said 30 here, but it's closer to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and 0 would represent more like a negative 18 degrees Celsius. So I was close in estimation. Okay, so those are your examples on real world math situations. So we talked about money, we talked about temperatures, thermometers, negatives in a thermometer would be like freezing, and the hotter or the more positive the number in thermometers, that's like hotter. Okay, any questions? If you have any further questions, go ahead and make an appointment with your teacher and make sure you wrote your notes down on the main ideas of this video. Thank you.